Hey folks, JD here, and today we're going to be looking at the Yuneec Breeze 4K. So we're going to be taking that up, we're going to obviously be calibrating it first, then taking it up for a flight. Now, it feels like a quite nice drone, it feels like it's going to fly quite well. I'm really quite liking how this all comes together, and I've started to really quite like some Yuneec drones, just get into the world of Yuneec. So what I'm going to do today, we're going to take it up, we're going to use the first battery just to fly around and see exactly how she works off the transmitter, see how everything does come together as one package. Then I might swap out for the second battery and then do a couple more tests and for another video. So far, I'm really quite liking it. The brushless motors, you know they're going to be quick, you know they're going to be okay. You know they're going to be powerful enough for exactly what this quadcopter offers. The 4K camera, I want to see whether it is actually true 4K. Going off the resolution in the manual, it looks like it is, but I really want to see the output file as well. We've got 16GB of internal storage, that's all empty, so we're good to go with that. So all in all, I'm just going to get this on the mat, let's calibrate it, and let's take it straight up and see exactly how she does. Calibration starts when you go into the application and then into settings for the quadcopter and then into the calibration part. Now inside here you've got three different methods or three different ways you have to calibrate the GPS compass before you can even lift off and take the quadcopter up. For best results, I recommend you calibrate before every single flight. So here we go through the three different steps. First step is moving the quadcopter one way. When that then gets to 100%, you move the quadcopter in a different way. You will be prompted when to do this, and then that will get to 100%, and then likewise for the third time you move the quadcopter in a different way until it gets to 100%, and then from that point of view, when it's all complete, then you are ready to take off. Now it's very important to know that you do have to move the quadcopter in the same direction that it is being shown in front of you. For best results, lift the quadcopter up off the floor, give yourself a good few feet and start to calibrate above. If you're too close to the floor, the calibration isn't going to succeed properly and you may have a bit of a wavy flight. Alright then folks, so here we are, we're up. So we're active, I've just started recording some video. So far, she looks alright. Okay, so I'm just going to take her around a little way around by me for the minute and seeing how this transmitter works. Because I've used a couple of gamepads or gamepad-esque transmitters in the past, and even though they've been okay, I still prefer something with a little bit more control to it. But this seems to be alright. So far, seems to be alright. So, we're up, altitude 4.6 meters. We've done distance of 13.9 meters so far. So it looks quite good. It sounds quite nice. Those brushless motors, they're standard brushless set. They are quite quiet. They're not that loud. I'm just getting used to this controller for a minute. Nice little bit of pitch and yaw. She seems very stable. She seems, so far, when I let go of the controller, the air brake supply, she steadies herself, optical flow is working, and she just seems to be holding herself quite well. I have had quite a bit of breakup off the FPV already, but that's something that we're quite used to anyway when it comes to flying. But the quality, I'm hoping, I have set it in the settings to be, ooh, what was that twitch? I have set the settings to record in 4K. So I'm hoping that's exactly what the output of this file is going to be. Now, let me just see, how do I alter that gimbal? I wonder. Yeah, there we are, just with the down arrows, just with the standard D-pad. That looks okay, so I'm just going to walk up to it a little bit. Obviously it is sitting at a height of 5.3 meters, so it's, you know, nowhere near me. I just want to see exactly how this footage looks. This is just the raw 4K output. But so far, we're down at 61%, 19 satellites. We've always been very fortunate when it comes to GPS satellites in this area, just quite simply because it's a really open area. You know, there is no obstructions, there's no power cables or anything like that to kind of get in the way. I'm liking this gimbal movement. It's quite... I just had a notice flash up that said altitude, that just said takeoff failed, which worries me a bit because, well, it's up in the air. But I've still got full control over it. Let's bring it back a little bit. Let's move it around and send it out. See, it seems to be quite good. You know, it seems I have control over it. I have walked a little bit further than what I normally would. I normally stay by my tripod. So let's walk back a little bit. Again, since that original breakup of FPV, that's not something that we've had this time. Again, had it once, haven't seen it again. I'm going out each time. I want to see how this transmitter responds to a bit of range, and I'm just trying to figure out when things get a little bit hairy as to when I can turn around and bring it back. Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to suss the quadcopter out for the minute and just see exactly how it does. That was 37 meters. But so far, if I just stop it there and increase its altitude, it does have a geofence set on the altitude lock, and it does have a geofence set on there we go. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? Now we got a bit of a breeze down here at my level. It's about 3 miles an hour, gusting up to about 3.5. Now with this being up at 19 meters, now we have got a bit more of a breeze. If I just bring it down slightly and then let go, you can see that she is rocking back and forth a little bit. But then again, that's to be expected. And I'm just bringing her down. You can really hear those motors really acting with a change in circumstances, change in height as well. So what do we got? We got 43% battery, recording 4K video for 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Yeah, you know what? It reminds me a lot of the Parrot Bebop. It's a little bit rough around the edges in places, but it flies well. It has nice control over it, and I think above all, it makes me confident that I can fly it and that I can bring it back and we're not going to have any mishaps, because its flight is extremely stable. Obviously its GPS it has, oh there we are, we've got Wi-Fi breakup. If I stop her there, we got still got a bit of Wi-Fi breakup. That's okay because I'm flying LOS for the minute anyway, so I can just keep my eye on it, so that's not a problem. And yeah, I think more so than anything else, oh, is it about to initiate return to home, I wonder? Because it's just kind of stopped there and I have absolutely no control over it whatsoever. Wi-Fi lost. Reconnecting, if not connected, breeze will return to the home point. So I just started walking towards the breeze, and then there we go. And now I have full control again. No problems there. That's a beautiful sunrise. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but it is a beautiful sunrise. Right, okay, so we've been recording for 6 minutes and 10 seconds. We've got 34% battery. So I'm just going to take her around the field a little bit in a slightly different way, just so that we can see a slightly different part of the field for a change and see exactly how it does. But so far, it seems to be doing quite well. I think I would prefer a different connection medium than just standard Wi-Fi. I think I would prefer to have something 5.8 gigahertz, 5G, you know, something which is a little bit, you can get a bit of range on. I mean, we've only just started seeing advances in that with the Mavic, you know, the Mavic Pro, the Mavic 2 and things like that. So, you know, and this quad's been out for over a year. I think the leaps and bounds made between the Parrot Bebop and this are incredible. And then I think the leaps and bounds made between this and the Spark, again, are incredible. I think the Spark is a fantastic quadcopter, and I think, honestly, this copter as well is really very good. Now, I've just held it in front of me there just to see exactly how she does. I think for the second, she's doing really well. You can see she's tilted a little bit as the wind is hitting. It's flying in on the right-hand side, on my right as I'm standing here, and then going off towards the left. And you can see the quad just acting against that, just making sure it can stay up and it's nice and stable. So it's just moving itself just enough just to keep itself active and stable, and with that optical flow system underneath it as well, just helping with that. yeah, it all looks to come together into a really nice little package. Right, and one thing I like about it as well is its look. It looks mean. It looks like something really futuristic. You know when people used to design futuristic cars and futuristic planes back in the 60s and 70s? That's what this reminds me of. Reminds me of a nice futuristic design of somebody thinking, what is the future going to be? And that's what it reminds me of. And I think it works. As a selfie copter, I think it's going to be fantastic. That's going to be the next set of tests, directly off my phone, and see exactly how it does. But so far, yeah, I'm very taken. Now we're at 19% battery. I don't like running the batteries too low, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut off the recording as soon as I remember which one it is. Is it? I think it's that one. Yeah, recorded. This is where I love to have a transmitter with all the buttons highlighted as to what they do, because oh, there we are, the LED in the back is flashing, low power mode, and I don't want it to initiate return to home because, well, it practically is home. And I'm just going to bring it down a little bit, hopefully, and just get it. Oh, come on. This is probably part of the manual I didn't read, or it didn't sink in last night when I was reading it. So what is land? Go home, outdoor. Oh, there we go. Seems to do it itself. It's all stopped, it's all safe to approach. Seems it. Okay, so let's approach it. Ah, well, Mark, I really did enjoy. Buddy, thank you very much. Now, this is the great thing about quadcopters. They advance so quickly. It's hard to really go back in time a little bit and see exactly a year ago how everything came together and how everything worked. We did that a couple of months ago with the Parrot Bebop, and for the first flight I didn't really rate it that much. I found it was a little bit too unstable and it was a little bit too finicky. But then the more I flew it, the more I realised, you know what? This is actually part of the quadcopter. You have to fly it. I've been so spoilt with having GPS quads that fly themselves, and I just altered its orientation. It's nice to have something that flies and it has a couple of little kinks that you have to iron out yourself, and the same with this guy. So when you first fly it, it feels a little bit heavy, but it's so light in the air. It moves really quite nicely. It has a really nice shape to it, as I said, very futuristic. Reminds me of something somebody would have drawn in the 60s and 70s as to what they think a futuristic aeroplane would look like. This would probably be the drawing that they came up with. The camera looks fantastic. The gimbal movement was great. The movement around the field was very fluid. I did lose Wi-Fi in a couple of places. I did take her out to over 40 meters and still no problem there. Now, this isn't a distance machine. This is a selfie copter. You know, it's meant to be flown off your smart device, and then you can buy a transmitter for it either separately or in a different, you know, sort of like power pack sort of thing, like Parrot do. Now, and I think 40 meters out of something like this, I could have pushed it further. I just didn't want to on first flight. I don't know it. I've got to learn it. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit alien to me for now. But I think on the first flight, I'm really quite impressed. I'll be even more impressed when I see what that video footage is like. Now, it's all recorded inside the internal memory of this particular quadcopter. A couple of things to note as well is that with these, the optical flow system underneath here, it was incredibly stable. On first takeoff, it just held there. Took itself up to about maybe 7 foot, and just held it there. No problem, wasn't waving about the place, and we have got, you know, a bit of a gusting breeze here today, but this guy just pulled through it without any issues. Now, the transmitter is easy to use, it's nice to use, but I would say if you are going to use it, you've got to pair it up first, get everything working on it. That's a little bit finicky, but it does work, no problem. Once you have done that, then you've got yourself a pretty good transmitter. Now, the Game Seers are known as being good for your Xbox, your PS4, whatever, and also for your quadcopters. We saw one a couple of months ago with the Tello, and I think they're just perfect. So that was the first test. Second one is, how does it perform as a selfie quadcopter? Now that's what I'm going to be interested in, because this is light enough and small enough to take in a bag, and I'd be quite interested to see how it does on this smartphone. So that's going to be coming in the next few days, folks. All right then, my friends. Thank you ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.